Welcome back to Inside Indiana Overtime. Alex McCarthy, John Bauerfeind, here at Assembly Hall, where we just watched Indiana knock off number 22 Ohio State 69 to 66. It is the 18th time since the 2011 season that Indiana's beaten a ranked opponent. That's the second most in the country, behind just Kansas, which has 19. Um, and really, their last ranked win came just a couple weeks ago, so IU's really kind of neck and neck with them. But
And four of those ranked wins are ranked teams that have come against Ohio
that's
State.
true. That's true. It's Indiana seems to be ranked Ohio State's kryptonite. But a lot of great performances, or pretty good performances tonight from Indiana, which looked especially good after the catastrophe that we saw in East Lansing, where just it seemed like nothing went right, and it looked like that was history was kind of repeating itself here early. Indiana turned the ball over 5 times in the first 4 minutes, got down 9-2. Ohio State was up 9-2, I think, at the first media timeout, and then Indiana went on that 22-6 run, kind of fueled by some bench guys who brought some energy to the court: Nick Zeisloff, Colin Hartman, Emmett Holt. But really, it was Indiana found its way to victory behind the two performances of James Blackmon, who led all scorers with 18 points, but especially Troy Williams, who had a great night.
Yeah, you mentioned Blackman. 16 was 18 points game in the second half. In the points category, he outscored D'Angelo Russell, Ohio State star freshman. But in my opinion, at least, it really looked like Troy Williams was the main cog in Indiana's win today. Had a double-double, 15 points and 12 rebounds, and actually had this double-double, I believe, with over 60 minutes left in the game. Had a handful of assists, blocked a shot, a couple top 10 ESPN top 10 worthy dunks. As Amir Williams will hopefully not watch, or he'll soon regret. But Troy played very well. After the game, Crean talked about Troy's inner pride and said he was embarrassed after the Michigan State game, in which Troy started the game and had 0 points, only 1 rebound. Troy said he did not, after the game, that he felt like he let his teammates down. And today, he clearly did not do that. Came out, played very well. And James Blackman actually mentioned Troy, who assisted on Blackman's only made 3 today, as someone who got even, was getting others involved too.
Yeah, no kidding. And with Blackman, it just seemed like um, his first 2 games of Big Ten play, he wasn't great against Nebraska, and then was downright pretty bad against Michigan State. Yeah,
Michigan State.
And just looked kind of lost, and just not really into it maybe against Michigan State. But tonight, and tonight it looked like, in the first half it was kind of another episode of the disappearing James Blackman. But then after halftime, we kind of had our eye on the battle between the two freshmen. D'Angelo Russell hit a 3 to start the second half, but then was basically kind of kept in check for the rest of the half. Blackman was the total opposite story. He had 7 points in the first 5 or 6 minutes, I think, of the second half, and hit some big free throws down the stretch for Indiana. He was still only 1 for 5 from behind the arc. Both of them, both standout freshmen, he and Russell were. But Blackman was able to kind of find success inside, find ways to get to the line, ways to change the game. And he said it really started for him on the boards, on defense. He had 7 rebounds, and that kind of went along with the theme of the night, was Indiana. One of the themes of the night, I guess, or the afternoon. In fact, it was a noon game. Was Indiana winning the battle on the glass. They
48-39.
Yeah, yep, and really from start to finish, they were able to outmatch Ohio State in the front court, which is something that I think a lot of IU fans maybe wouldn't have expected before the season.
I mean, on paper, Ohio State's a much taller team, but bench guys like Hartman and Emmett Holt came in and did some of the dirty work. I know you mentioned James Blackman had 7 rebounds. You mentioned Troy having 12, and so it sounds cliche to say something how it was a team effort, but at the end of the day, it was. And speaking of the bench players, Emmett Holt had a very good game. Zeisloft saw it off the bench, finally started making some threes,
Yeah.
of which it seemed like it had been a month since he had made one in the game. Stanford Robinson, who is now officially back shooting left-handed, had a nice game defensively, had a couple points. Um, who else? How did we forget Colin Hartman?
Right, Colin Hartman.
Good game.
Yeah, he it might not have looked like that much. He led the team with 3 blocks, I think, but 6 points, or sorry, 2 points, 6 rebounds. Really not a remarkable box score kind of lineup look. But Hartman was all over the place. His energy, I thought, totally helped change the game in the first half, where he was everywhere on both ends of the court. He was coming out of one of those early timeouts where Indiana just looked like it was totally unfocused on offense. He drove to the lane, got a layup to go. Oh, I guess those were his only 2 points. He drove inside, showed some aggressiveness that Indiana really hadn't shown really the past couple games, and kind of jump-started them. Nick Seislaw hit a couple threes. And, I mean, like you said, it is cliche, but really Indiana got contributions all over the place from its starters, from its bench guys, from basically everyone you kind of expected to get in. So they're going to hope to kind of continue that whole approach, just kind of being aggressive, getting a lot of guys involved, and just playing with a little bit more urgency. It seemed like there was no
Yeah.
fire in them at all
Mhm.
in East Lansing. Maybe it was the 5 degrees outside up there, but that cooled them off. But either way, they looked a lot better tonight, this afternoon. Sorry, but they'll be in action for a night game Tuesday here against Penn State,
7 o'clock.
7 p.m. We'll be here obviously, and we'll be providing full coverage leading up to and following that game. So thanks again for watching. Again, Indiana 69, Ohio State 66, and we'll see you soon.